Hello and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. We are your hosts, Chris and Philly, co-founders of a multi-award-winning functional medicine practice, serving busy people with energy, mood, and gut issues.
While busyness, addictive doing, people-pleasing, and perfectionism might be the norm, it's not normal, and it's a major contributor to health issues.
Our goal with this show is to give you a holistic root cause approach to healing your body so that you don't have to continue doctor or diet hopping or popping a gazillion supplements hoping something might stick.
So get ready to heal your body, get your spark back, deeply connect with yourself, and step into the life of your dreams.
Let's dive in.
Hello, Philly here. How you going? Before we jump into today's episode, I just want to do another quick announcement on the book, Ending Body Burnout, a functional medicine guide for busy women with energy, mood, and gut issues. It is due to be released at the end of this month. So exciting. Now, if you've been thinking of buying a copy of the book, now is the time. It is so almost ready to be given to you. But if you do it before the end of the month, then you will also access almost $300 of our pre-release bonuses, including our short course, Beating Body Burnout and Perfectionism. You'll also get my Gut Movement Masterclass, and you will receive a live, intimate Communicating with Symptoms workshop with Chris and I, date to be announced. Essentially, all of these are going to be tapping into the body-mind connection and helping you to holistically heal at a root cause approach. Now, in line with that, today we're actually interviewing one of our beautiful clients, Sarah, who has recently completed our Ending Body Burnout Method. She is amazing. And if you really resonate with her story or it piques your interest and you're like, oh, gee, I really actually love the idea of this holistic approach. It's something I haven't ever done when I've come to trying to heal my body, then grab a copy of the book because we take you through the whole process in the book. And if you want to dive right in and actually start working with us to heal your body at a root cause approach, our doors to Ending Body Burnout Method are opening end of November if you want to jump in for the last time this year. So pop in the show notes the link to join the waitlist for that so that you can jump in and start healing. All right, so hope you enjoy today's episode. Let's dive in.
All right, so welcome everybody to this episode of the Ending Body Burnout Show. This is a really special podcast episode, and we're really excited to be able to have our guest on, who is a client of ours. Sarah is going to be on our show today, and we're going to interview her and hear her story, her journey, and I'm sure a lot of you listeners will resonate with Sarah's story and her experience. But thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on and joining us on the Ending Body Burnout Show. We're stoked to have you.
Hi, Chris and Philly. It's really nice to be here. It's really nice to be here. I've been part of a journey with you guys, and I'm really happy to share my story.
Awesome.
Yay. Thank you so much. We're really, it's always awesome to hear someone else's journey, and there's actually science around it that when you share your own story, especially when there's a positive outcome, and then others get to hear that story, that there's actually healing benefits in that. So you're giving a gift to not just to yourself, but to everyone else who's going to listen to this. So I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So you had already been on quite the healing journey before you worked with us. Can you take us right back to the start when your body started showing signs of symptoms and what that looked like for you?
Yeah, I guess when I think about it, from when I've been very young, maybe even 4 years old, I've always been really small, a small build, and I was always really fussy around foods and had, a lot of sensitivity around taste and textures, and just my gut being sensitive to things and not feeling good. So being very particular, everything had to be perfect, and and I also had really thin hair and just low energy as well, and always had anxiety and a little bit of fear, and I was always a little bit scared of the world. I loved to be home with my mum and dad in my safe place, and I was a little princess, and that's where I was safe and loved and protected. And I guess I grew up with that as sort of part of me. It's never really changed. I've always had fussiness around food and felt scared of the world, and that was just part of who I was and what I had come to accept about myself, and in many ways. Yeah.
It's so, we will get more into that side of things a little bit later on, but it's the same story for everyone. Like when we are adults and we end up with body burnout and symptoms and dysfunctions, it doesn't just come out of nowhere. It's not kind of like one day you wake up, oh, I've got issues now. There's usually like this build up, almost like a pressure cooker that's building up over time, of a combination of lots of stuff.
Yeah, no, it is. And I can see that now, now I can see it, and it's kind of like just been variations of the same thing and little build-ups and triggers and flare-ups that were just, a bit of it's always just been sort of that same ride through my life. And just always seemed normal. Who I was. And it kind of didn't need to make sense. It just was me, and I just learnt to manage it really, and try to, health and well-being's always been really important to my family and to me. So I've always just found, been searching for answers all the time, and just, found things and felt they worked, and just been on that journey.
And at some point you were diagnosed with gastritis. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, well, just before I found you guys, I've always dipped in and out of the medical system as well. I grew up with going to the doctor, and as well as searching for natural therapies. So, I had been for a colonoscopy, and I'd had tests, and, I'd been told I had gastritis, and, but I still had no answers as to, what to do with that. So I was, really lost and confused, and trying all the things as you do. And I tried naturopathy and acupuncture and, things that really did work for me, but I was still not getting all the answers that I needed. I still knew there was more to my health, and I just couldn't quite connect the dots.
And when you say it was working for you, was it kind of like symptoms improved, but then it never really resolved? Like it kind of was just fluctuating? Is that how it was showing up for you, or differently?
Absolutely. I've always had periods in my life where, I've had really good health, and I felt really on track and in my flow, and but then I seem to come back to, what I probably would describe as a flare-up, and just, a variation of the same sort of symptoms, gut issues, and, maybe a rash, and just different things happening, and my anxiety really flaring up, and just becoming really introverted, and just going, what is happening, and I'm really aware of it, and able to sort of, I guess, use meditation and things like that to get myself back into a space that I'm functioning, and I'm, back to living my dreams. But at the same time, always had a bit of a feeling that there was more to it that I just couldn't quite find. So I still felt very much like I was always searching for something, and I was always reading and listening to podcasts. And I mean, I enjoy that, so I loved it as well. But, I guess, having flare-ups as well would just bring you back crashing down to, that have you got really anywhere, or you're back to somewhere that, you were trying to get out of and you're back there?
Yeah, it's almost like you felt like you hadn't quite got to the root of the issue.
Definitely. I definitely hadn't got to the root issue. And I felt like I was close, but I just couldn't get there. I couldn't get there on my own. I really couldn't.
Yeah. Okay. So then you reached out to us and we started off with lab testing. So that's what we call the answers phase. So you can't have physical symptoms without there being some sort of body system imbalance. And so understanding where the body systems are at are a big part of the picture that people don't tend to do, especially if you've kind of been more in the medical system where tests are run, but they're really looking for diseases or looking for a way that they can medicate or use surgery to try and band-aid the symptom most of the time. So when you did your lab testing, are you happy to share some of the findings?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you remember?
I do. Well, I do because I had I had pathogens, which I've had on and off, I've had these before. So, and I had some really nasty ones.
E. coli.
I had E. coli, which is really nasty. And I had deficiencies, which I have had, ongoing. That's something I've always been tested. So those things I was kind of expecting, but they were a bit nastier than I thought and a lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
And I had candida, which I kind of had always felt a bit too, because I had been on the contraceptive pill and had antibiotics all my life. And so those were things that I felt, I'd always felt that might be there. So that kind of validated that. But I was surprised about my adrenals and being stage 2 adrenal fatigue. That was, I was exhausted. So I guess, afterwards I felt, relief in some sense that that was the case. But I was surprised.
Why were you surprised about that one?
I think I was surprised because I take such good care of myself.
Yep.
And I'm so, I do all the things, I live a really healthy life with lots of really healthy habits. And, I just was surprised that I could let myself get into that state, I suppose. And, the other thing that really shocked me was my microbiome, because, I had always taken supplements and done the things and followed things.
Eaten really cleanly.
I was so clean and healthy living. I live in the forest, and I'm always, doing everything so perfectly, which was part of, what I had to discover about myself wasn't, helping. And I was shocked. So it was a bit of a roller coaster ride finding out, everything as well. But it was amazing because it gives you, some real understanding of your body and where it's actually at. Like, I was just surprised altogether with how many things were actually happening in my body and all the different systems.
I do actually remember the lab review consult with you. It was just like, wow. But then after it was like, what do we do now?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. I think it took me about 2 days to recover from it. Because it actually, I really did. I went through something. I was going, oh, my gosh, I don't know. Just so many emotions, like I just, it is, you go through all these emotions with it, but you come back to, which is why you do it with you guys. You really do need somebody there with you that's going to walk you through it, because there's a lot to take in. And I was so overwhelmed at that stage, which I didn't realise, just how overwhelmed I was getting about things. And so it was really hard for me to take it all in as well, even though I was so excited to find out. So, yeah.
And that probably leads into what we call the root cause. So in our Ending Body Burnout Method, it's not just, oh, here's some lab tests and take some supplements and here's some diets. It's, well, why did the body systems burn out in the first place, especially for someone like you, who you had been on a journey for a long time and you were eating really well and you were living off grid and, you know, nature and meditation and all that sort of stuff. It's like, well, hang on, why is there a stage 2 adrenal fatigue and why is the microbiome so depleted? And also your neurotransmitters were quite depleted as well. So there was a real kind of stress component to it. So are you happy to talk about what you discovered around body-mind connections? And this is what we do, like for our listeners, we call this part of the process Spark. So where we're going into the deepest root cause, which often comes back to what's happening in the unconscious state.
Absolutely. And I love this part of the journey. You know, I was a little bit resistant to doing the full ending body burnout method, but, you know, I've come to learn that that's, you know, part of protecting who we are as well. And I'm so grateful I did it because I knew so many things about myself, but I discovered so much more, you know, and I found out that I had this root belief that I am helpless. And, you know, I would have never been able to identify that myself. You know, I knew a lot. I knew I was scared and I knew that, you know, I didn't trust everything, but, you know, it really helped me to get to the root cause, which was, you know, this belief that I am helpless. And, you know, there was also a little bit there that was coming that was I'm not good enough. And it was just affecting, you know, it was, fueling my fear and my worries. And it was, you know, creating this busyness. I was losing my flow and I was going into this busyness and perfectionism mode. And, and I was exhausting myself, you know. Then I would feel shame because, you know, I wasn't always healing myself or whatever I was doing. If I wasn't doing things perfectly, I had this underlying fear and it was affecting everything about myself. And, you know, you go through this journey of discovery. There was this reckoning phase, which I just loved because, you know, even all my symptoms, it was, you know, showing, you know, anxiety is not trusting the flow of life. I mean, it was just perfect for where I could just see it all in front of me. And, you know, just all my GI, my gut issues, you know, it's a fear of letting go of the past. So there were all these connections which completely made sense. And just even I had rosacea. My rosacea on my face was really inflamed. And, you know, rosacea is what we represent to the world. Your face is what you represent to the world. So I could see all these connections and it just allowed me to look at myself with, you know, more love and kindness and go, you know, and you kind of feel, you have to be really vulnerable and honest, which again comes back to, you know, needing, you know, support to go through it because you have to really be able to dig deep and take those layers away. And, you know, the way the program is designed is, you know, with these outlets, which are activities, which, you know, when you're doing them, each one then, you know, it brings a piece of the puzzle together and you do actually finally connect the dots. It's only by doing each of those activities and really sitting back and looking at it that, you know, it's very clever the way it's done and it's really powerful. It's almost got a simplicity to it, but it's so powerful. And I think that's what I really loved about it was that it's such a journey of discovery and understanding. When you discover something about yourself, you can see yourself with a new perspective and it's much kinder and more loving. And it
I love that
through the whole thing. Yeah.
And it's just so similar to just the way that we use the lab tests as well. It's like, these are the physical imbalances. Well, here's a process too where we can look at all the unconscious imbalances and what's going on down below that's flaring, or the not stress, but your response to stress. It's almost like this inner tiger chasing you, especially when it comes back to deeper core beliefs. So Like, it completely makes sense that if you had a core unconscious belief of being helpless, then yeah, like the world is scary. And you do have to work harder to be perfect at everything and do. Like, even when it comes to healing the body as well, then sometimes it can cause more stress if those underlying deep root causes aren't being addressed. Because it's like, I actually, like every cell in my body, consciously I want to do this, but there's something deeper inside of me that actually believes I can't. And so it's almost like this running on a, what is it, the hamster wheel.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was affecting my connectedness to myself and to others and to my, to the whole world, really. It was just affecting that, which, yeah, it's just such a big deal. You can completely see why that would affect your health and why you are sort of lost in the confusion of it. It's exhausting because your energy is just going into trying to, you're internalizing these worries and fears, and you're stopping your being time, your mindfulness and your connection with yourself and your body and your mind. Is just, yeah, it's not connecting and being.
So good.
Yeah.
I've been really quiet so far.
He's been writing listening. A lot of little notes.
Sound
bites of Sarah.
When I listen to a story, so for example your story, I like to map it out and just so I can see the flow of it, and this is from what you've said. You started off you came to us with a symptom or a sign of a symptom. You had a problem that you wanted help with. It might have come across as gastritis or gut rashes, flare-ups, or that sort of thing. And you wanted to initially that was what you're aware of. Hey, that was the stuff that you initially came to us for that help.
Yeah.
But then through the process of digging into the root causes and how your body system started falling apart, you connected the dots from when you grew up as a little girl, being anxious, searching for that love and safety and protection. And as you grew up, you implemented some safety nets, maybe some safety mechanisms, some ways of dealing with the world and helping yourself to live in it by doing naturopathy, acupuncture. You mentioned meditation, supplements, and I wrote down that you tried to do it perfectly and you tried to take care of yourself, and you even moved off grid and you moved to a beautiful natural habitat where
if we're going to do it, let's do it perfectly in the forest. and then when you had lab testing to look inside at the body systems and where they were, you realized, wow, there's something that needs to be kickstarted. There's a few things that need to be kickstarted. Adrenals weren't working the way they should. There were some deficiencies. There were some things that need to be killed off, like overgrowths and pathogens and not so good bacterias and microbiomes, and you needed to kind of play around with that gut. I can imagine that there was some surprise and some shock, and because you've been trying for a long time to make things right. My fingers did the inverted the speech bubble. You're trying to do things perfect. You're trying to do things right, and then you said that brought some shame and some guilt and frustrations. Like, well, what the heck do I do?
Yep.
So you've kind of talked about this a little bit, but can you take us to the moment when you realized that what we were doing with you in our program, specifically Spark, it was actually working to solve your problem?
Yeah, and, Chris, you just reminded me as well. I sort of have two moments because you reminded me my first coaching session one-to-one with you was, a really significant spot for me, because in that session you reminded me that everything is actually inside of me and that I am enough, but somewhere on my journey I had broken rapport with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it restored trust in myself. And, you know, from that session, I really, you know, I took away a visualization and some words that you'd given back to me that I had said, you know, and, it just restored something back in me that I grew up with too, you know, and I had that, you know, we all do, you know, we all are enough, and somewhere we do break our rapport with ourselves. And so going back to that for me, just and having that trust again, it just, I don't know, it gave me that permission again to trust myself and, you know, trust in the process of life and, you know, in the power of the universe. And, yes. And the other thing was, the other part of the process that was really beautiful for me was the, is it the NLP?
Yeah.
Neuro linguistic programming, which was 28 days. And,
nervous system regulation.
Rewire practice.
It was just so amazing. I mean, from the beginning with the sensory anchor, I mean, that's been so powerful for me. And, you know, I had a couple of audios in there. They were audios, and they just took me to these moments, you know, in my life and made me realize those same key things, you know, that I am enough, and just all the emotions and love that it brought inside of me. I mean, sometimes I had tears coming down my cheek, but not because I was sad, because it was just so intense and beautiful. And, and I knew, and plus all my supplements, you know, were really working then as well. And my body was feeling better, and it was healing, and I was healing, and I was just feeling, I just knew then. I knew it was all really working, and I was really grateful, and I was just loving the journey. And I just, those moments were really important. It was cool. Beautiful. It was great. And I did it with my husband, this journey, and I just loved as well that we both had such different experiences along the way. And, you know, it's a unique journey because you are unique. So, you know, you can go along this journey however you need to. That's what I really loved about it too. And so for me, a lot of it was just connecting back to reminding myself of, you know, who I am and what I really am capable of, and, you know, the things about myself that I have always known, and, you know, that doubt and fear is okay. That's just part of change and protecting yourself, and just putting things into a perspective that makes it safe and makes you know that, you know, you can trust yourself, and you can be your own self-healer. And you've got all these tools, and the rituals that we've learnt have all just been really powerful.
That's awesome. Who I am. I love that you had an opportunity to rewrite your identity, your statement about yourself. Hey, like this belief about yourself. You went from being this little girl princess who needed to be rescued and saved, this damsel in distress, to can I share like the meme that I shared with you after our like a lioness, you know, this warrior princess, almost like a Xena warrior princess. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Oh, you'll laugh. Every morning I still do my stretch after breakfast, and I'm doing my warrior princess. That's part of my first move when I'm doing my stretch and my yoga pose. I'm doing warrior princess, and
that's so cool.
Yeah, it sets up. I just smile. It sets up my morning, and my whole inner self just smiles, you know. And I'm, you know, back to listening to my inner wisdom and. Believing in myself. I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be. You know, I have this set of affirmations that I created since that experience I had with you, and I still do it. You know, it's like a little variation of it, but it's still going strong, and it brings me joy, and it just sets me up for my day so beautifully. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's so
It's
cool.
so cool. I loved receiving your outlet work, and it was just warrior princess. I am a warrior princess. I'm like, yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. You know, I mean, I believe in unicorns still. So I know somewhere along the journey, I stopped believing in myself a little bit, and you know, not completely, because I do have a lot of courage, and you know, I'm really capable, and consciously I was making lots of great choices, but unconsciously I was a little bit not okay. And so, you know, it's just coming back to understanding why that's happening, and and having some support to, and you know, that guidance to help you to accept, I don't know, to go on your journey and be okay and come out the other side. And yeah.
So cool.
So cool. So what does life look like for you now? What wins are you seeing in your health and in other areas of your life?
My life is, I feel a real sense of relief and freedom. I start every day. I don't jump out of bed and rush into my busyness. I actually lay in bed for ages, and I do some breath work and some visualizations, and I you know, give myself intentions for the day to honor my mind, body and soul. And I often smile while I'm doing this. It brings me great joy. And then I have a beautiful morning routine that I still do. And I breathe, and I just enjoy the process much more again now. And I understand myself, and sort of I'm able to have this beautiful flow. And, you know, I often have my hot drink out. I live in Tassie in the forest, so I have my hot drink on my veranda, and it's fresh, and there's lots of sounds, and it's such a huge sensory anchor that I love to do every morning. And I do my stretch and my visualization. And, you know, in my day, I'm just, it's not all, you know, when I'm out of flow, because I do still get out of flow. I just did it at work on Friday, you know, and the thing is, I'm so aware of it now, and I understand what's happening, and, you know, I'm able to course correct it. So, you know, I'm aware when I'm off track, because I go into a bit of busyness, or I start to flounder and not achieve anything, and I'm kind of in one space or the other instead of in my flow. And so I'm able to bring myself back, you know, and to listen to myself and trust and forgive and accept myself as well, and just, you know, get back into my flow, and able to feel sensations in my body, you know, with curiosity. You know, I enjoy it now, going, oh, what's this, you know. And I had a little, you know, thing going on my finger a couple of weeks ago. So I thought, oh, what does fingers mean? You know, like, I love that it's all like, oh, what does this mean? You know, what's happening? And
what are you trying to tell me, buddy?
What's going on? And a lot more back to myself, because I am a very loving person, and just, back to myself and who I am, and just a lot calmer and, you know, more energized, because I've got more time for myself and space for myself to, be who I want to be. You know, I've really discovered on this journey, and it's part of the program, you know, that last part was probably the hardest part for me, actually, but the most rewarding, because, you know, it was about looking at who I want to be and what I need to be that person, and have that life and that energy and that flow. And now that I've done that and discovered it, there's no turning back, and it's given me tools that I can use, and I go in and out of rituals, and, I'm really kind to myself. I don't, didn't do something one day, that's okay. I don't have to be perfect. I am perfect, actually, but I don't have to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just me, and I've got tools and tricks, and I just enjoy it. I enjoy it because it's so nourishing to me, and it's who I've always wanted to be. And I've just been able to find that place, and it's still a journey, and I've still got things to navigate, but just feel so much more trust in my abilities and where I'm going. And I'm doing things, I've always been living my dreams, but now I feel like I'm doing it with a lot more heart, a lot more intention, and, it just all feels better.
So beautiful.
It's really cool.
What about the symptoms you came in with as well? Have you noticed changes there?
Yeah, I have. Yes, I have. I don't have any pain, and I've just been I do still have, a little bit of fear and worries that pop up, but just so much calmer. I've just got some really nice rituals in my day that are setting me up, and in terms of my body, it's been a lot more relaxed, because for me that deeper sense of self just affects my whole body. And, when I do get a little bit of discomfort in my tummy, I can automatically think about what's happening in my world. I can, I've got a little set of questions as well from the program that I can use, and I go, I can see. I can see what's happening. And so it's just, I haven't had any flare-ups. And,
cool.
When I'm at the beginning of things, and I can feel that start, I'm able to use some techniques to get myself back on track. So I've been a lot more relaxed and a lot more, I'm really capable, I guess, of healing myself. And I don't have any symptoms as such. I'm not having a flare up anymore. I'm just, I'm navigating those situations, and I'm seeing the connections. I've connected the dots. That's the thing. I've connected the dots, and I know how to, nourish myself and get back on track and be kind to myself. And it's made all the difference to all of my physical symptoms.
Oh, so beautiful. I love it.
That's so cool. We have probably got there's a lot of people who've come into our world recently directly from our podcast, Hey Phil. And so if you're listening to this and you're thinking, Sarah sounds just like me. Hello, nice to see you out there listening to us. But there's also some people who we've talked to that feel I could never get those sort of results. There's no hope. I haven't had any success. This feels like if there's no hope for me. What would you say to some people out there who might be stuck in cycles of body burnout, who might be struggling to get anywhere, who might feel like maybe there's no hope for them from your experience?
I guess I would say, you don't have to just manage your symptoms, and you're not broken. Health is wealth, and you are enough, and you too can be stronger than you ever imagined. And, it is a little bit scary to reach out, and, I was scared too, but, Chris and Philly are going to hold your hand and take you on a journey that is going to, empower you and free you and, give you the health and vitality and energy that, that you're looking for. So, give it a go and try something new. It's just such a valuable thing to do for yourself. And you will, discover so much, and you'll also come to appreciate yourself. It's not about just looking at things and going, all this stuff. It's about really appreciating who you are and, what you have achieved. And, there's so many things to celebrate along the journey. And, that's what I loved about it too. And just, you get skills and to look after yourself, and it's an amazing place to be.
Thank you so much.
That's cool.
So cool. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on and sharing your story. It's been amazing. I've got a little bit teary in some parts. So proud of you.
Oh, I'm so grateful I found you both, it's just nice to find people that can help you on your journey. And, it's been really special for me. So, I'm really grateful to you both, and you've both all, always shared your journey as well. And, been really honest and vulnerable too. And it just made it all a safe place to, to all be us and to heal. And, so it was really cool. So thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us on our podcast today. It was awesome to have you. And thank you, listeners, for hearing Sarah's journey. If this resonates with you, if Sarah's story resonates with you, we have some show notes you can read down below, or head to our website, which is chrisandphilly.fm. And you can go there. We've got a bunch of resources that might help you out. We've even got a scorecard that you can do an assessment to rate your body burnout, and get to know how your symptoms are related to root causes and vice versa, and all that sort of stuff. Gives you some idea of markers that are important. But that's it for this episode. Thank you again, Sarah, for joining us. That's a wrap. Thank you again, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. If you'd like to give us extra smiles, drop us a review and spread the love by sharing this episode.
You can also rate your own state of burnout and the root cause contributors by taking our Ending Body Burnout Assessment on our website. And if you're interested in learning about our group or one-on-one Ending Body Burnout programs, shoot us a DM via Instagram or Facebook.
Have the best day ever.